Okay, we're coming up to the entrance of United Home Audio. Let's go in and check out our visit.
Welcome to United Home Audio, Peter.
Hi, Greg. How are you today?
Great. Come on in.
Thank you. Here we go. So this is the home base of United Home Audio. We come into the home theater room. How about that?
New 65-inch Samsung curved 4K TV.
That's very cool.
Kind of fun. And of course MBL 126 radial stroller, right and left.
Yeah, now viewers, all MBL speakers have the same mid-range and tweeter. And this is the mid-range, and that's the tweeter. So you get that MBL magic across the whole range. What's the turntable over here?
That's a Hans Acoustics turntable and an SME 309 arm on it. The Hans is a suspended table, so is the platter as well. Has two motors, in the German-made motors in the back. Motor controller down below.
I see, right over here. Yeah, got it. There it is.
And running a Clear Audio DaVinci cartridge on that table. Very, very massive, nicely designed table. This is like the third from their top line. And of course the SME 309, real nice tone arm on there.
And we have Acoustics photo stage here.
Yeah, Aesthetics Rhea.
Yep, that's a great photo stage.
And it's going into this Lennar, which is an interesting piece. I found it in my warehouse one day. It's a 5-channel, 125 watt per channel amp, but it's also an integrated amp. And you can send it a 2-channel signal like from the phono stage, and if you have by-wire capable speakers, you can run 4 of the amps, 2 for each speaker. And you can also adjust the volume by remote control, but you can also adjust the bass volume, so it's almost like a kind of a tone control.
I see. How about that?
Yeah, all in one box.
Well, very cool. Well, let's continue our visit and tour of United Home Audio's home theater area, and then we're going to come over to the customer meeting area for discussing system needs, having a beverage before we go into the big room. You have a beautiful setup here for coming in and entertaining prospects and customers and manufacturers. It really is sweet.
Yeah, we have quite a few people come through for the listening experience, and not only customers but people in the industry and what have you. Always fun to have audio guys come by and listen. That's part of the allure of having a nice system, is sharing it with friends.
Well, speaking of sharing it, can we come into the main room?
Sure.
Here we go, viewers. This is what it's all about. This is the heart of United Home Audio's main listening studio. They're the MBL 101E Mark IIs. This is a beautiful room. Well, take us in and show us the system, Greg.
Let's start with the speakers. We got the MBL 101E MK2 speakers, radial strollers. Like the 126 out there, this has the radial stroller mid-range and tweeter. On the 101 MK2, it's a bit larger mid-range. And on the MK2, there were a lot of design changes done by Jürgen Rice, who's been the designer for MBL for a long time. And this apparatus here, a lot of people, when they look at it, they think that's a mid-range. This is actually a woofer. Plays down to 100, and then you have a bandpass subwoofer down below. It plays right on down. And very forceful, three-dimensional image coming off of this because of the way it works. People think, well, it's radiating in 360 degrees, which is true, but also because of the curve of these radial Strahler drivers, it's also shooting like this, and of course like that
I say.
down. So it's not only just doing 360, but it's filling in the information with a little bit more natural presentation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at a cello is not flat. A cello or a violin or an instrument's designed, you know, to bring out more of the music. And that's kind of what these do. Now in this particular speaker,
You've done some modification to the speaker.
well, not specifically to the speaker, but to what the speaker sits on.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy Bryan and I and Bill Ying with Shun Mook worked on footers for these speakers. And these are Shun Mook feet, custom designed just for this speaker. They replace the brass footer feet, and they screw in with the same stud that the brass feet use. And what they do is they make contact in 4 places on the bottom plate of the speaker, which I think kind of you know, grounds the speaker well. On the bottom of these Mapingo wood Shun Mook devices, there's a big stainless steel spike. On the end of that spike is an industrial diamond, and the diamond has some kind of way of grounding the speaker most effectively, or any other piece of equipment that the Shun Mook may sit on. It grounds it more effectively. And then what I did was I custom made Mapingo wood platforms to go so that the Shun Mook could couple directly with the Mapingo wood. The Mapingo wood is extremely dense and heavy. It's very dense and heavy, and it I think what it really does is it sympathetically vibrates at frequencies that your ears don't like, and it seems like it kind of takes some of the schmutz out of the music.
The schmutz. I like that term.
Well, there are Shun Mook freaks all over the world.
We know that. Yeah, they're big following.
He has quite a following, and there's a reason for it. Now, some people get it, maybe some people don't, but is it necessary, you know, to the sound of the MBL? No, of course it's not. It's just something else to bring the music a little bit closer to reality. And the thing that really started me with the Shun Mook was the fact that this room that I have here, which is very secluded in the house and everything, it's not a perfect room, okay? So the thought process was, if the room isn't perfect, what can I do to the room to make it more perfect? And Shun Mook had a plan for that. And this is what's called a spatial sextet, because I'm using 6 of these devices on the pole. And what they do is they take these Mapingo discs that are tuned by Bill Ying, and it puts them in an array of 3. Each one is oriented in a different configuration to work as he wants it to work. And you have one down below, you have one at a specific height, and then you have one way up here at 78 inches that is essentially making a sonic room boundary kind of thing. And if you notice, there's 1, 2, 3 of them, and on the opposite side of the room, equidistant from the listening position, you have another 1, 2, 3 to define the space.
There you go, viewers.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the room is not of perfect dimensions. You have space over here. When I first came into the room, I realized when I walked in and I was talking to Greg, my voice sounded very contained within this listening space here, and kind of in defiance of the shape of the room.
That was the idea,
Yep.
and I think, when you sit down in the sweet spot and you listen, because of the quality of the system and the quality of the source, of course, and everything else that makes a difference, you don't notice anything limiting the sound. It's like there's no walls, there's no ceiling. It's just sounds erupting out of 3D space.
And I can attest to that. We've had 2 evenings of listening sessions, and this is the most spectacular MBL system I've ever heard. It doesn't have that normal MBL sound where you have a thick and very realistic bass. This is it's like almost a non-MBL sound, but with all of the three-dimensional magic. This system is the least colored MBL system I've ever heard. It's probably one of the most spectacular audio systems I've heard in my whole listening career.
Well, that says a lot right there, and it all goes back to a system working together. I know in high-end audio, a lot of times, we like to put things together.
Mm-hmm.
We like to, mix and match. But this is an all MBL system.
What model amplifier is this?
This is a 9008
Mm-hmm.
monoblock.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular amp is a beast. It's a big, heavy beast. It has 2 power supplies in it with 2 power supply switches. It requires 2 power cords to feed it. Mm-hmm. I have it running off of its own 20 amp circuit. Each monoblock runs on its own 20 amp circuit. And then the source components run off of a third 20 amp circuit.
And I see Terra lab cable here.
Yeah, Terra Labs Omega speaker cables, 2 pair.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the 2 power cords
Yeah.
right there going into the amp.
There you go, viewers.
Coming off of a Terra Labs PM2, which unfortunately they don't make anymore. And it was a great low-cost little power conditioner that beat the pants off some very expensive stuff, and I've kept them. A lot of people that have them don't want to sell them.
How about that?
And then we go to the MBL 6010 preamp. Very, very versatile apparatus. Lots of inputs, lots of outputs, 2 different zones of outputs, so that you can bi-amplify if you want. Very adjustable, both left and right. Control on both outputs.
How about that?
So very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And just a beast.
Mhm.
It will belt out the sound. Absolutely.
I've had that in my system, and it's an exceptional piece.
And the amps as well as the preamp are all sitting on Shunmuk GDRs, giant diamond radiators,
Here's a little bit of a look, viewers. There you go.
which in my humble opinion adds a little dimensionality to everything.
Mm-hmm. CD player here.
CD player, electro compagnette, top loader
Mm-hmm.
for some digital.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also using for the source components only a Silver Circle power conditioner
Mm-hmm.
with a piece of aluminum foil on there so I don't see the light. I like to listen in the dark.
Yeah, I was kind of questioning you about the aluminum foil.
It just covers up a big bright light.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I don't know, I don't even know if you can see it, but, and I even cover those lights up. There's a PS Audio P5 power regenerator.
Oh, down there on the floor, you can see
Yeah.
the light shining, viewers, right in the crack there. Yeah.
And the 6010, the digital, and the tape decks are running off of the P5 PS Audio.
Okay, well here we are. The star of the setup and the star of United Home Audio are the tape decks, the source components. So here we have 3 of them here in the system.
Yeah, we have 3 different configurations. The black deck on the left is a UHA record and playback deck. I think a lot of people don't realize that I've put just as much time and effort in the record side of these decks as the playback side. Everybody seems to be very interested in the playback, but it will record like a house of fire.
Okay, and the deck next to it is playback only.
Playback only.
Okay.
Yeah. A bunch of different features on some of these decks. You can see the scrape flutter roller here, which actually has ruby bearings in it. The playback head with the Mapingo cover on it. These decks have been tuned by Bill Ying. They have Shunmuk side panels, and you can even get the decks with their own Shunmuk footers that screw directly into the chassis. You can see the difference on this deck here because here's the record head. So you have the playback head and the big record head on this particular deck.
Mm-hmm.
These decks also have the Vary Q, which allows you to adjust the high frequency from 10K up on the right channel and on the left channel, and it allows you to fine-tune your playback to a particular tape or your particular room or speakers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just another layer of flexibility that you have on these decks.
And the third deck up here, tell us about this deck.
This is the new Phase 12 one-box deck. Down here are Phase 12 two-box decks with the outboard power supply.
Mm-hmm.
Supermassive toroidal power transformers. One drives the motors, one drives the preamps, and it separates the electronics, playback electronics and record electronics from the power supplies, which is obviously a good thing.
Yeah, and there's the power supply in there for that deck, and then the white deck, the power supply is over there.
Yep. Now on this deck, this is a one-box unit, and this one was done for a customer with some real turquoise inlay on it. It as well is a playback deck, and it has the scrape flutter roller, and the tape head sits in a mu metal can. Mm-hmm. With mu metal, and then it has the Mapingo cover on it. Mm-hmm. It also has the Vary Q, so that you can change the high frequency EQ. This deck also has a super grounding device in it, which is a device specially made to scavenge noise out of the ground, and works very well in A/B comparisons. Everyone prefers the grounding device. Is it necessary? Of course not. These are things to push the envelope. Just give another layer of possibility to your sound reproduction.
Well, sonically, the decks, in my opinion, this is the #1 source component in the world, viewers. If you can do the cost of entry and have the ability to spin up and thread tape, when you hit play, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the world.
Yeah, the decks start at $11,000 and go up from there.
Mm-hmm.
So the price of entry is at 11,
mm-hmm.
and then of course you have the cost of the tapes. But considering the average audiophile's music library, it's all a matter of shifting funds. Instead of buying 10 pressings of one LP, go ahead and buy a tape, and it becomes cost effective because it brings another layer of analog possibility to your listening experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, the experience that we've witnessed here over the past 2 evenings of listening sessions, I mean, an unbelievable amount of hit parade tapes that we've been playing. I can't even describe how good some of it sounded. Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane, I've never heard it reproduced like that. I mean, just track after track, album after album that we played, it was awesome. So let's do that. Let's play something for the viewers. Let's play a little bit of something from an Opus 3 sampler tape. And viewers, if you're viewing this and you're curious about this one box unit, this is going to be up at the AV Showroom Studio. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, please give us a ping, and perhaps if you're serious about buying this deck, come on up and take a listen. And of course, if you're down in the Beltway area, you must take a listen here, because you'll never hear a system like this system.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay, let's do some listening. Here we go.
Okay. selection, House of the Rising Sun by Cindy Peters.
Got to go back. the ruin of many a small girl, and Lord, I know I'm a woman.
Well, thank you for a tour of United Home Audio.
Anytime, Peter.
This system now joins the world's greatest audio systems on AV showrooms. I want to congratulate you for such attention to detail with the Shun Monk, with the MBL, the speaker placement, with how the room is set up, and your outstanding source components, the UH8 decks.
Thanks.
They are off the charts good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter.
It's great to have a tour. See you, viewers.